Hey, welcome to our second video. And yesterday you would have received an email from us about how to spot the early warning signs, which I think is really important for line managers. Because if you notice a change in one of your employees' behaviour or someone in the team, they could be having decreased productivity, their morale's low, lack of cooperation, frequent complaints of tiredness, or taking days off sick, or actually probably spending too much time at work, which is often, when you start to spot when people are becoming stressed or burnt out or anxious. If you're starting to notice any of those early warning signs, and we do get into that a bit more in our training where we look at specific warning signs for stress, anxiety and depression, then you perhaps might be thinking, actually, how do I manage a disclosure? How do I have that conversation? And often as managers, we want to fix things. So we want to find a solution and fix the problem because we're managers, right? But sometimes I think we just need to, before we jump to kind of, solution and problem solving, sometimes we just need to think about giving people a space to talk, and how do we facilitate those open conversations? So the question today is, how do we manage disclosure? And I guess this is in two parts. And the first part is around listening skills and strategies. So as part of motivational interviewing, one of the skills and strategies is called OARS. OARS, and that stands for open-ended questions, affirmations, reflective listening, and summarising. And really, this probably gives a frame to how you talk and listen and respond to people anyway. But I think it's helpful to think about it in these four areas, because actually this helps to have it helps to facilitate a really open discussion about mental health, or other difficult, sensitive topics that you might have to address as a line manager. So it's always about starting with open-ended questions. So just being mindful not to ask closed questions that produce yes or no answers and shut the conversation down. So how, who, what, when, and really trying to get people to open up to talking about what it is that's going on. And then affirmations. I think we underestimate how important it is to feel affirmed. And if you want to have a strength-based conversation, and that's any strength-based conversation, it's really good to be able to affirm people and to be able to say what their strengths are and what they have done well, because I think this makes people feel appreciated and valued, and that really helps us to build rapport. And to build on from that, we talk about something in motivational interviewing called reflective listening, and this is probably the most powerful part of the technique, because if you're able to repeat or rephrase things to help people to feel heard, or to paraphrase, so put it into your own words and reflecting that person's feelings, it really creates a connection and demonstrates that you're listening to that person. And then the final strategy in OARS is to summarise. And if you can summarise kind of what the discussion's been about, and without necessarily coming to any conclusions, that really helps that person to feel understood. And just setting a really clear timeline about, when you're going to meet next to talk about it. And I would encourage you to, in the initial discussions, not to have solutions worked out before, but to be able to kind of come back maybe a couple of days or a week later with some support in place for that person if you're managing a mental health disclosure. So tomorrow I will send you out an email with some reasonable adjustments, because that might be something that you want to consider if you are having a conversation around mental health. And in our workplace mental health training, we talk about advanced motivational interviewing techniques, which builds on the skills and strategies that we've just spoken about. So That's around expressing empathy, developing discrepancy, rolling with any resistance, and supporting self-efficacy. And in the first conversation that you have with someone around their mental health, if they're disclosing to you, it could be, that you don't, like I said, that you don't come to a conclusion, that you don't have a solution. However, in the follow-up meeting, it might be that you have to propose some adjustments, or that you need to implement some strategies. And this will really help you to build on from those conversations. So thanks for joining us today, and tomorrow you'll get an email on some reasonable adjustments that you can make in your workplace.